All right, welcome back to 9.3. This example, we're going to be talking about what happens when we have a circle and a line. So this is just, again, showing the three possible situations we could end up with. And I want to mostly focus on the example itself. So let's look at this. So we're given a circle. This is the equation for a circle with a radius of the square root of 5. And then, of course, a line. And so the first thing that we want to do, so kind of like what I talked about in the last video, we're going to use substitution because we can when we have things that are not squared. So since these are both not squared, I could either substitute this in here, or I could rearrange it, solve for x, and substitute that in here. Obviously, since this is already solved for y, the easiest thing is to just take this and substitute it in here, which is exactly what they did. So that is what we get here when we substitute this in for y. And then, of course, we need to FOIL that out. So we get 9 squared. 3 times 5 is 15 times 2 is 30. So we get negative 30. And then 5 squared is 25. And then, of course, we need to rearrange that so we have 0 here so that we can factor and solve. So if we subtract 5 from both sides, we get 20. And then 9x squared plus x squared is 10x squared. So that's how we get here. We can see that there is a factor of 10 in each of these. So we can factor out the 10. And that gives us this. And then we just go ahead and factor like normal. And we end up with x minus 2, x minus 1. Multiplies to 2, adds to negative 3. And then setting each of these equal to 0, we get that x is 2 and x is 1. And then we have to plug both of those things back in to the y equation. So we have, if x is 2, then 3 times 2 minus 5 will give us y. So 6 minus 5, so y is 1. So when x is 2, y is 1. So one of our solutions is going to be 2, 1. When x is 2, y is 1. And then we plug in 1. 3 times 1 minus 5 is negative 2. So we're going to, when x is 1, y is negative 2. Remember to write them in brackets like this, because if you just tell me that x equals 2 and x equals 1 and y equals 1 and y equals negative 2, I have no way of knowing which x goes with which y. So make sure you write them in coordinate pairs. That's going to be really important when we're dealing with quadratics, particularly because we often will have more than one solution. Okay, so that's basically how it works when we have one thing that is quadratic and one thing that's not. All right. In the next example, we're going to be looking at what happens when everything is squared. All of our variables are squared. What do we do then? So that's going to be the next video. So I will see you there.